Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, in here, out there, all around the world, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Now, let me ask you something. Personal question. Anyone here afraid to fly? You ain't crazy? There have been some real problems with the Boeing 737 MAX 8. Two of them have gone down since October. One just this past Sunday. But here's the problem. According to one pilot, Boeing's jet's autopilot appears to cause the aircraft to tilt down suddenly. That's not good. I don't even like it when the seat in front of me tilt down suddenly. Sir, I just want to watch Infinity War. I didn't want to lick it. Yeah. Not only that, pilots repeatedly voiced safety concerns to federal authorities, with one captain calling the flight manual inadequate and almost criminally insufficient. Turns out the flight manual is just a copy of Departures magazine. I don't want to read about 3 perfect days in Santa Fe. The autopilot's trying to kill us. I would like to read about 3 perfect days in Santa Fe, by the way. Boeing's solution will not give you much comfort. The current plan is for Boeing to issue a software update to fix the nosedive problem.
As your captain speaking, the plane is presently flying at the ground, but not to worry, folks. I'm going to try to unplug it and plug it back in again. Install a new flash player.
Dozens of countries grounded Boeing 737 MAX 8, including China, European Union, and Canada. And the Canadians really put their foot down. Oh, hi, sorry. Would you mind keeping those jets on the ground just for now? Also, please stop making fun of the way we talk, because we don't all talk this way. And for the last time, we don't all have pet beavers, because they would frighten our pet moose. Okay. You're going to keep talking that way no matter what we say about it? Okay, sorry. And a boot. The only people not grounding the MAX 8s were the United States, but late this afternoon, Donald Trump made this announcement.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9 and planes associated with that line. Any plane currently in the air will go to its destination and thereafter be grounded until further notice.
They will be grounded until further notice. No TV, no Xbox, no driving the car. Come on, you're a plane. The president explained why he decided to make the call.
I didn't want to take any chances. We didn't have to make this decision today. We could have delayed it. We maybe didn't have to make it at all, but I felt it was important, both psychologically and in a lot of other ways.
Yes. Psychologically, it was important that we ground those giant metal penises. I mean, metal daddies. I mean, tiny metal penises. What was I trying? What was the question? It's important to realize that we all make mistakes. We criticize, our government, as is our right as American citizens, but we all make mistakes. Rarely as many as former campaign chairman and star of the new superhero comic book Guilty Man, Paul Manafort. A lot of people were shocked last Thursday when, despite a sentencing range of 19 to 24 years, Manafort got 47 months in prison. It was the most unexpectedly light sentence since Leatherface got community service. But today was round 2 for Manafort. In front of federal judge Amy Berman Jackson, Manafort had already been found guilty of 2 counts of conspiracy, each of which carries a maximum 5-year sentence. And the question coming into the day was, would Judge Jackson let Manafort serve that second sentence concurrently with his first one, or consecutively? Now, it might sound impossible to serve 2 sentences at the same time, but I think Manafort's up to it because he served 2 countries at the same time. Now, Manafort... Well, wasn't sure where we're going there. Wasn't sure. Well, now Manafort has been doing everything he can to garner sympathy. In previous court hearings, we've seen Manafort with a cane. Then last time he showed up in a wheelchair. Today I was expecting a brain in a jar. Actually, it was a wheelchair again, but when Judge Berman Jackson entered the courtroom, Manafort stood up from his wheelchair on his own power. It's a miracle! Your Honor, you can't sentence this man. He has been touched by an angel. Hallelujah! Right. A little late with the choir over there. Now, always got to be ready with the choir. Now, Then Judge Jackson handed down the sentence, 60 months on count one, 30 of them served concurrently with his previous sentence, and 13 months on count two to run consecutive to his other sentences. Let's see here, 60 months minus 30 plus 30, and 13 months, let's see what's going on here, and, yeah, he's screwed. And the calculator did all the acting. All told, combined with the 47 months from his last trial, Manafort's facing a total of 7.5 years in prison. So someday, Manafort's going to have to walk up to the biggest guy in the yard and say, "Mr. President, can I have a pardon?" And literally minutes after Manafort was sentenced today, Manhattan's district attorney said, "Hold my beer." Because New York State issued an indictment charging Manafort with 16 crimes. Well, that's just, I mean, come on. 16. Come on. That's just adding insult to incarceration. Now, keep in mind, this is important. While the president can pardon Manafort for any federal crimes, he can't do that in New York. Even if Trump pardons Paul there, he can still arrest him here. It's up to you. No. Yeah. Okay. But didn't quite make it. Didn't quite.
I like the key. That's the key. Yeah.
I wasn't ready for the key change. But earlier today, Trump said he's not even thinking about a pardon.
Will you pardon Paul Manafort?
I have not even given it a thought as of this moment. It's not something that's right now on my mind. I do feel badly for Paul Manafort.
I feel badly. He's a good kid. He just got in over his head. By the way, over his head is where the By the way, over his head is where the plastic bag will go if he turns state's evidence.
Manafort's trials are just the warm-up to the Mueller report, which, come on already, Bob, it's been 2 years. Even George R.R. Martin is like, wrap it up. And nowhere are people more anxious for the report to drop than in our nation's capital. As the New York Times reported yesterday, the Mueller report has Washington spinning, which may explain why Steve Mnuchin always looks so nauseous. Now, the Times reporter describes the mood like this: Washington, jittery, full of rumor, like a becalmed ship in the dead air before a coming storm. And one reporter bored out of his mind assigned a non-story about how there might be a story toils away like a forgotten lighthouse surrounded by fog so dense no light can penetrate. "I love you," she cried. This reporter writing this thing can't hide his frustration with how little information he has to go on. He writes, "It may or may not be the report of the century. It may or may not be ready soon. And it may be only a few pages long. But one thing, and one thing alone is for sure, I have to hit 500 words." 500 words, she whispered, her silken robe sliding to the floor as the morning sun hit her bedewed form. This is getting sexy. This is getting kind of sexy. I like bedewed. Even people in the White House don't know what to do. There is no war room preparing to deal with Mr. Mueller's findings, and the president's advisors are simply flying blind, said one person directly involved in the planning who was not authorized to discuss it. Not authorized to discuss what? The nothing that no one is doing? I can't say much, but I've already said too much.